You are now tuned in to Rum, Louisiana.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Shalom.
Brothers of Rum, Louisiana, back at you again with another live class. Lord willing, you be edified by this class.
Come.
And the title of the lesson for today is called "To Eat or Not to Eat." All right.
Understanding the biblical dietary law, clean, unclean, and holiness. So that's what we're going to get in today. All right. Let's go with it. All right, to eat or not to eat. So I just wanted us to get back to the basics on just like what does the scripture say. I know sometimes that there's discrepancies and some back and forth about what is lawful, what is unlawful. I'm gonna just stick with the scriptures in the sense of if it's in there and when it's good, if it ain't in there, or there's the negative showing what is unclean versus what is clean, then it should be a go. So y'all take this at your own will, but we're gonna break it down from that point. All right, so we're gonna talk about like what this about, what the foundation of this comes from, how this works, going through categories, the spiritual meanings behind it. We're gonna deal with some skeptics' claims and how we should rebuttal them. What is a judgment based on what we decide on what's good and what isn't good, and then I got a timeline put in here and some scientific names for pork. I put that in there because a lot of times we don't necessarily understand that they be trying to hide the names of things that you should and shouldn't eat in the ingredients. So with that being said, we're gonna rock with that. All right. So what is this about? We're gonna give a basic understanding of the order of God's rules regarding what can and can't be eaten, right? That's gonna be plain. There's gonna be a list of animals that would be considered acceptable, and then those that are considered violating. That should be plain up on tables as well. Also, a response to the skeptics. You want to know how to deal with certain things when it comes to play, and then a practical guide to honoring the dietary, right? And I'm gonna try to make this quick and easy, So we're gonna start. Like, what's the foundation? Let's get Genesis 1, 29 and verse 30, right? Let's go there.
Book of Genesis, chapter 1, in verse 29.
Come on.
And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, and which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for a meat.
So Yahweh originally ordained a plant-based diet for man and beast, right? There's nothing strange about that. When the Bible opens up, this is what he had ordained, right? Give me Genesis 2:16.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2, in verse 16. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die.
So we have instructions about obedience to the dietary law. He's giving you aspects about the tree of knowledge and, separating it from good to evil and tied it to life and death. Let's get Genesis 6:19 through 21.
Got your Genesis 6 right here. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6, and verse number 19.
Come on.
And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark.
That's right.
To keep them alive with thee, they shall be male and female. Of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of Salakia, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind, 2 of every sort shall come unto thee. to keep them alive.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 21, and take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten.
So at this point, all food that is eaten was the plant diet that was prescribed. Keep going.
And thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them.
Right.
Verse 22, thus did Noah according to all that God commanded him.
So Noah followed what he told him to do, right? Let's get Genesis 8 and 20. I'm taking you through a brief history of the beginning of this, right? Go ahead. 8 and 20.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 8 and verse 20. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar.
So the beast that he had brought on, the clean ones, that is, when you go back to Genesis, I think it was 6. No, it's not 6. Where he talks about it's 8. Where it talks about how many he brought of each creature, 2 of unclean, and then
Yes,
8
and 19.
8 of what? Yeah, 6 and 19, 2 of unclean, and then 8 of the other ones, right?
Okay.
So Noah's now utilizing the clean ones because he still has to offer the burnt offerings for the clean animals. The dietary consumption is not yet permitted for the animals, right? Here's where it becomes permitted. Let's get Genesis 9, 3, and 4.
The book of Genesis, chapter 9 and verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things.
So that right there definitely stamps that the green herbs were for the meat. And at this point, they've already docked. They're no longer floating. And now the Lord is adding to what he wants them to be able to consume. Yeah.
But flesh with the life thereof, which is of the blood thereof, shall ye not eat.
Come on.
And surely your blood of your lives will I require.
Mm-hmm.
At the hand of every beast will I require Salakia. At the hand of every beast will I require it. And in the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man.
So before you get into the bottom half of 5, it says, but the flesh that with life thereof, which is of the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. So the flesh then becomes something you can't eat, but if it was alive at that point, then you had some rules and regulations that you had to go by, right? Let's get the right. So what advantage does this have, right? So when we talk about eating and its benefits, we're talking about a spiritual sanctification, right? We're talking about being separate because that's what holiness was. Holiness allows you to be separate, which means that you are not like others, right? Let's get the definition of sanctification.
Sanctification. Hagisamos, from G37,
Mm-hmm.
properly purification, concerning the state. Purity, concretely by Hebraism, a purifier,
Mm-hmm.
holiness.
Right. So separation or sanctification was a purification. You want to consume that which is going to sanctify you, right? And we're going to talk more about that. So when we talk about what it means to be clean, we're talking about something pure, something fit for consumption, something acceptable before Yahweh. It's richly or morally undefiled. When we talk about something unclean, we're actually going into it's being defiled, it's polluted, and it's not fit for consumption, right? Let's get Leviticus 10 and 10.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 10 and verse 10.
Come on.
And that ye may put difference between holy and unholy,
Mm-hmm.
and between clean and clean.
Right. So in the beginning, he's allowing us, again, beyond what was revealed to Noah, to us now, again, that there's a difference between clean and unclean, right? Let's get 47.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 47.
Come on.
To make a difference between the unclean and the clean,
Mm-hmm.
and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten.
So it goes out to say that, like, people will hold that, well, you can eat like stuff like pork and stuff, but it wasn't even commissioned as a food. From the jump, it's an animal, and in of that animal, it's clean as it represents its function.
Right.
But upon its death, it's not a clean animal to be consumed. It's not considered food by the Lord. The Lord made he gave us the list in this Leviticus chapter 11 for what we could and couldn't eat, right? Let's get Ezekiel 44, right?
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 44, and verse number 23.
Now, the interesting thing about Ezekiel is that at this point, they're going into what it's going to be like going back into the kingdom. So that's an important point, because what you realize is that, okay, he set some laws beforehand, and then basically telling everybody that, hey, listen, we're back to the dietary, even in the kingdom. There's nothing that anybody to do about it, right? So what is the purpose of eating clean? Right, it's to maintain holiness. You want to be able to preserve your health, and you want to be able to distinguish as a set apart people for Yahweh, right? Why would you mark uncleanness? Because I wanted to be able to recognize impurity. We want to be able to see that there was a moral defilement, right? We want to be able to see that if you within your heart have decided that something could be eaten that was clearly outlined that couldn't be eaten, you're in spiritual danger, right? Let's get Deuteronomy 14, 2 and 3.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14 and verse 2. For thou art in the holy unto the Lord thy God.
Right.
And the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all the nations that are upon the earth.
Right.
Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing.
He makes it plain. It's a plain. It's not even like we trying to, make it seem like something it ain't. This to me is plain up on tables, right? Let's get Isaiah 52 real quick.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 52 and verse 11. Depart ye. Go ye out from thence, touch no unclean thing. Go ye out of the midst of her, be ye clean, that bear the vessels of the Lord.
Now, Paul goes ahead and tells us that our body is a temple for the Spirit, which is the vessel of the Lord. So it's your duty to not touch those things that are unclean and to be as clean as possible, right? Christ tells us to be ye holy as your Father in heaven is holy, right? Go ahead. Salakia. So then we get into the application of why clean foods make a difference, right? One, it's divine approval. I mean, I think that's something we can rest our hats on, right? The cud chewing, the split hoofs, and the fins and scales. It's nothing that you can say against an animal that has those qualifications once they're approved. You can't unapprove them.
Right.
And then those who don't have say fins or scales or don't split the hoof, you can't make them now clean. Right. So foods outside of the parameters will designated as unclean, right? And that's going to be important moving forward, right? You want to be able to understand what the divine disapproval was as well. Scavengers, blood suckers, right? Sound like vampires.
Spooky hours.
Right? Abominable creatures, right? We just kind of read about that in where it says that with the life and the blood in it, right? So what is this significance? It's a symbol of discernment and obedience. That's all. When you're adhering to the dietary law, you're basically telling God, I'm going to love you how you told me to love you, even as it comes to the things that I put in my body. That's just what it is. It has nothing to do with what you love to eat and what you dislove. Now, granted, we grew up in a society that put us on unclean foods early. Slavery, as a matter of fact, a part of the punishment in captivity was told, especially in Ezekiel, that we're going to eat defiled food. It was mentioned. But what happens is you'll come to yourself, like Solomon says, and you become a little sanctuary, and the Lord will be a little sanctuary to you, and you start treating yourself as the temple and the priest in the temple, and you start making the sacrifices to treat your body right and to honor the Lord as he had called us to do from the jump, right?
So, Salakia,
go ahead.
to that example of So the example that we use when we talk about when we keep the commandments of the Most High, it's the Lord's love language, right? What it is it's if we're the bride, right? It's us submitting to the headship of the Most High, right? So that submission is falling in line with what He has laid out for us, because He's made our pathway straight and good for us to walk. In that regard.
So when somebody asks you, why do you keep the dietary law, your response should simply be, because I want to love the Lord how He told me to love Him. And that what that's gonna do is gonna heap hot coals on people who don't understand the Lord, because they're gonna be like, well, I love the Lord, and then you're gonna go to 1 John, and it's like, well, John says if you love the Lord, you're gonna keep the commandments, and that's a commandment, you know. And so you start dealing with them, showing them from the Old Testament to the New Testament how the principles and the nature of what He was saying is brought over from the Old Testament to the New Testament, even into the kingdom, right? Right. So what's the result once you touch this stuff, right? If you touch good food, you know, it don't bring no defilement nor no guilt. But you touch the unclean, there's a defilement, and it requires purification to get you back right. Let's get that in Numbers real quick. Let me just show you some precepts. Again, like I said, guys, I'm not trying to hold you long, so I'm trying to fly through this.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 19 and verse number 11.
Go ahead.
And it says, he that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days.
Right.
He shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day. And on the 7th day he shall be clean. But if he purify not himself the 3rd day, then the 7th day he shall not be clean. Whosoever toucheth the dead body, any man that is dead and purifieth not himself defileth the tabernacle of the Lord.
Salakia. Granted, that's supposed to be, that's Numbers 19 talking about a dead body, and I mean, I guess theoretically, animal could be considered a body in one sense or the other. And that's the point that we was getting at. But to make it clean as it relates to animals, go directly back to Leviticus 11, and then let's look at verse 24.
Okay.
And we're going to read down in that.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, in verse 24. And for these ye shall eat the unclean. So like it, and for these ye shall be unclean. Whosoever toucheth the carcass of them shall be unclean unto the even.
That is directly in relation to the Numbers 19. It was actually talking about a dead body. A carcass is a dead body of an animal. Keep going.
It says, this is verse 25, and whosoever beareth all of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean unto the even.
So what do you got to do to purify yourself according to the scriptures?
Wash yourself.
You got to do what?
You got to wash yourself.
You got to wash yourself, right?
Take a bath, man. Be baptized.
Keep going.
Verse 26 says, the carcass of every beast which divideth the hoof.
Well, Salakia, that's good enough for what we needed to show, right? Showing that if you touch something that when you weren't supposed to touch in that manner, there's a way to purify yourself in that regard, right? So you get a chance to see when you contact something, there's spiritual contamination or rebellion, or there's spiritual approval, and it's great, right? So the modern implication behind that is when you do it by the laws that's clean, there's a nourishment that comes with it. It aligns with the divine design, right? When you don't and it's unclean, it's physically toxic, spiritually toxic, and you start going down that path of corruption, right? Let's get 2 Corinthians real quick. And then somebody else get Isaiah.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6, in verse 17.
Go ahead.
Wherefore come out from among them.
Come out from among them, right? Go ahead.
And be ye separate.
You go, okay? That's because we was talking about the sanctification, which was purity, and purity relates to holiness, and holiness is a separation from defilement. Keep going.
And be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing,
right? And
I will receive you.
That's the point right there. You want the Lord to receive you. It ain't got nothing to do with we trying to put some weight up on you. He's put the weight out there and was like, look, lift this. You can do it. I'm not gonna put more on you than you can bear. Right? Let's get Isaiah real quick.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 65 and verse number 3.
Right? Because you're gonna see what happens when you do what the Lord told you not to do. Right? What happens? How do you feel about that?
A people that provoketh me.
The people is provoking them. Why would you provoke the Lord? I just don't understand that.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's provocation or provocation in which you didn't know you did it. But this is intentional. It's like, it's not clear in the dietary law. Well, actually it is. Go ahead, sir.
A people that provoketh me to anger continually.
Every now and then.
Continue.
Saying, I understand why the Lord feel like that. If somebody picking at you continue after you done told them to stop, there's consequences that come with that. Right? Go ahead.
To my face.
You gonna do it to the Lord's face? You bold like that, huh?
Right.
I just don't think I have the willpower to do it like that. But go ahead.
That sacrificeth in gardens and burneth incense upon altars of brick, which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh.
Oh, so now they're eating swine. And this was a part of the provocation, right? You can't do that. He just said you can't do that. And now he's going to show you, hey, you really pissing me off about this. Okay? Right. Go ahead.
And broth of abominable things is in their vessels.
You making mouse soup. That's a horrible situation, brother.
That's terrible.
You know? So, let's go on to the next. Let's see what it does to you physically, right? We're just going to look at some physical stuff, right? What advantage does eating clean or unclean to the body, right? Now, we talked about the sanctification. Let's get to this in health preservation.
Health preservation is the practice of actively maintaining physical, mental, and social well-being to prevent illness and to promote long-term vitality. It involves proactive efforts to stay healthy rather than waiting to treat sickness, focusing on factors like proper diet, exercise, management, balanced lifestyle.
Right.
This approach can be seen in traditional medicine systems and modern public health, with the core idea being to prevent disease before its occurrence.
So one of the ways that the Lord was trying to prevent disease to people who are stubborn and hard-headed was to give you some rules to go by on what was good and what isn't good for you. Now, granted, even in clean food, there can be diseases that come from it if it's undercooked, if it's not done right, so we're not acknowledging that part. That is a true factor. You have to cook your food thoroughly, right? But if it's clean, it's fit, it's acceptable.
In Salakia, and the scriptures actually tell you not to eat blood.
Yeah.
So if you're cooking your food to the point of well doneness, then it's fine anyway.
That's a fact. Right? Okay. Right. So what's the meaning? What's the medical basis behind that? So when you're eating unclean things, right, there can be a pathogen load difference, toxins accumulation, digestive and immune problems, right? And then the effect that has on you is your energy levels are down. You get inflammation responses. And then you have long-term organ health. One thing we talk about all the time, a lot of people be with the high blood pressure and stuff. Hypertension. You know what I'm saying? That's big. Because Big Mom and them always did
diabetes.
You got congestive heart failure, right? Right? So we want to maintain holiness and preserve health. And the way we do that is by eating clean. Because you got to think about it. If you eat clean, and granted, say you didn't cook your meat thoroughly, but you are trying to eat clean, the Lord is going to provide some type of protection. So you may get sick, but you ain't going to be cast down. Whereas if you deliberately ate unclean, not only will you get sick, but you may not come out of that.
Right.
That's something you got to deal with, right? Pork host trichinella, Yersinia, HEV, and it's considered a group 1 carcinogen. And I just put that out there because we are big pork eaters as a community. Not us in the Israelite community. Let me make that clear.
God forbid.
We keep in the commandments up here. But in the Black Hispanic community, pork it's one of the main ingredients in almost every food. And they change the name up. You don't even know what it's called sometimes, and they put it in there.
Right.
Yeah, the enzymes in there. You got the juices. The juices. So That's one of the things that you cannot just be out here trying to eat, right? Because again, it causes the cardiovascular strain, and then increased inflammation, right? And there's that digestive burden. Your digestive system is your immune system, right? What you say?
Really quick, right?
Break it out.
It said group 1 carcinogen, right? Some that you learn being in the fire department is that when you go to a house fire, you go into a fire, those that fire that breathes off are carcinogens. And what we learned about carcinogens is that those are cancer-causing cells.
That's
which
right.
means
Wait. They're what?
Cancer-causing cells, or cancer-causing.
They're muscle-building cells.
No, ain't cancer-causing.
Cancer-causing cells.
So, in other words, carcinogens are the main components that's going to give people cancer, right? That's why they tell us, like in the fire department, to wear SCBA curriculum.
Correct.
To do these things, because, you get these carcinogens in you. Actually, believe it or not, we lead the fire department, firemen, we lead in cancer because of carcinogens. And it's just crazy that pork has carcinogens.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And again, pork is not considered a food. It is considered an animal, not a food. The foods are listed by what you can eat.
Right.
That which you cannot eat is considered just an animal.
Right.
Right? Then you have those that's in the waters, right? Without fins and cells, you have concentrates mercury and lead and PCBs, carries vibro, norovirus, hepatitis A, and major global allergens. And for the insects, they're disease vectors and bacteria and parasites. It absorbs pesticide and toxins and waste toxins, right? So you got a high microbial exposure, increased asthma and respiratory when you're dealing with the insect. And then when you're dealing with the excess mercury and lead metals and stuff, you're dealing with neurological strains. Your immune is at a hyperfunction, right?
Go.
All right, let's get to the next one. So let's look at what considered clean foods, right? So according to the scriptures, Leviticus 3, you got land animals, you got water animals, you got sky animals, and you have insects. Now, as a reminder, Genesis 9 and 4 told us that we got to do away with the blood. Genesis 32 and 32 talked about that sciatic nerve. It was the main nerve that ran through the hindquarters. And Leviticus 3 and 17 told us not to eat certain fats, as it was related to the priestess meals and stuff like that. Right? So Leviticus 3, what was the qualification for land animals?
11 and 3.
11 and 3. Yeah, 11 and 3.
This is the book of
Not 11. Leviticus 11 and 3. Go ahead.
That's the South, brother.
Come on.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse number 3.
Uh-huh.
Whatsoever parteth the hoof
Mm-hmm.
and is cloven-footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat.
I think that's plain. It parts the hooves, split hooves, chews the cud. The whole point behind chewing the cud is it's refined within the stomach process. So it's reprocessed in the stomach of the animals, which purifies it even more. Right? Get that Deuteronomy 14, 4-6 real quick.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14 and verse 4. These are the beasts which ye shall eat.
Uh-huh.
The ox.
The what?
The ox.
Go ahead.
The sheep.
Mm-hmm.
The goat.
Mm-hmm.
The hart.
All right.
And the roebuck.
Right.
And the fallow deer.
Uh-huh.
And the wild goat.
Mm-hmm.
And the pygar.
Mm-hmm.
And the wild ox. And the camels.
Mm-hmm.
And every beast that parteth the hoof and cleaveth the cleft into two claws.
Mm-hmm.
Put the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat.
So the interesting part is in Leviticus, well, it's mentioned here in chapter 11, but Deuteronomy, by its nature, means second law, means I'm going to tell you again what I've already said, so there's no misunderstanding.
Right.
Right? Let's jump down to the water animals, right? Let's get Leviticus 11 and 9.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 9.
Go ahead.
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
Mm-hmm.
Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
All right. So when you think about must have fins and scales, not fins or scales, not just scales, not just fins. Fins and scales. It's a compound word. It's jointed.
Yes, and.
Yes, and. They have to be together, right? So that's playing upon tables. You know, there's differentiation about what's considered a scale. To me, it's pretty plain. If it's considered a scale, regardless of its size, right?
Right.
Let's get verse 9 in Deuteronomy 14.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, and verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters.
Mm-hmm.
All that have fins and scales shall ye eat.
So catfish would be out.
Mm-hmm.
Shrimp would be out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things like that, man.
Things like that.
Right.
Now, Salakia, there's a point to be made, or a note to be made about the scales. If you look at some of the how previous armor, battle armor was formatted, it would be in a scale like format sometimes, which allows a much lesser amount of penetration of toxins or harm that could come through and to get through sensitive membrane of your body.
Right.
And so that's something to be regarded as. Man took note of the brilliance of the creation of the Most High in terms of fish and their armor. We built it into our own armor, our own battle armor.
That's a fact. The Most High had put the design out there, and we replicated it for other things, right?
Okay.
So water animals, fins and scales, right? Sky animals. Now this one was a little because it doesn't actually tell you what a clean bird is. It tells you what a unclean bird is. And so, you know, through prayer and through the Spirit, you know, there's a list that had been come up with, you know. Now, I'm not going to say it's perfect because it can be adjusted, because I know everybody may look at things different, but from what I was able to bring out, this is how they are. They wasn't scavenging. Most of them are seed eaters or plant eaters and omnivorous, which and not predatory. So omnivores, if you remember back in your science class in middle school, you had a herbivore, which dealt with plants. You had a carnivore, which dealt strictly with meats. And then you had an omnivore that ate plant meats, right? So let's get Deuteronomy 14 and 11.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 11. Of all clean birds ye shall eat.
So what was the clean birds that they list?
But these are they at which ye shall not eat.
So they don't list clean birds.
No.
So that's the point that I'm making. It goes directly into what isn't a clean, what isn't clean. So you stay away from those. And generally speaking, if it doesn't meet the criteria of the unclean birds, it's more than likely safe to be considered a clean bird. For instance, you don't have chicken listed as a clean bird. Okay. But through the power of Yahweh and through the Spirit, you recognize that, well, a chicken is a non-scavenging bird. It eats some seeds. You know, it's not a predator.
Yard bird, brother.
It's a yard bird kind.
Yep.
You know, when they turkey, same thing. When they was in the wilderness and the Lord told them to prepare quail. That's another bird, right? You know, so it's things like that you just got to be able to spirit. But this is what we have, right? Verse 20.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 20.
Go ahead.
But of all clean fowls you may eat.
So it's the Lord is telling you, I think you're smart enough to just kind of get where I'm going with this, right? Sacred wisdom. You know what I'm saying? So now there is, again, you go into Leviticus chapter 11 and you will see at verse 13, it tells you what the abominations are, right? And that's something to look. We'll look at that more here in a few. What about the insects, right? I know most of Israel ain't eating insects. Trust me, I'm not picking no grasshopper up and eating it. I'm not doing that. Even if it is clean, that's just not my style. Now, if it's a survival situation, maybe
it's part of the new world order, bro.
But I'm not doing that on the regular, right? Let's get a Leviticus 11 and 21.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, and verse number 21.
Go ahead.
Yet these may ye eat of every flying, creeping thing that goeth upon all fours, which have legs above their feet,
Right.
to leap withal upon the earth.
So that would be considered the clean insects. And then go on verse 22.
Verse 22, even these of them ye may eat, the locust after his kind,
Right.
and the bald locust after his kind.
Go on.
And the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind.
Right. So that lets you know right there what's permissible, divine approval. You stick with that, you will be okay. All right. Now, again, if you're not into eating insects, I understand. I'm not either. So
Salakia. now it talks about in the New Testament, John the Baptist was in the wilderness eating wild honey and locusts.
that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. And which goes to show you how prophets are different. Some stuff you just can't do. And we'll get into some of that, right? We'll show you the type of strain they have to go through. All right, so here's a list of some of the clean foods that you can eat. If you look at the land animals, the water animals, sky animals, and the insects, it basically just gives you a list in case you wanted to look at it, right? Let's go to the next. Now you have the unclean foods, right? Land animals, they must chew the cud and split and have split hooves, but if they don't have that, they wouldn't be considered. Now, people don't know this, but a lot of people eat camels. And across the world, camel is considered a delicacy. Completely against what the Lord had told us. Let's get Leviticus chapter 11. Let's look at verse 4.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, and verse number 4. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel.
Right? It tells you straight up, don't eat. Y'all want to travel and experience other cultures. I get it. But you still have a covenant that you agreed to, from the ancestors, that we are bound to. Right, so
don't be going to them Asian restaurants eating that camel's hump.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't do it.
They'll put it in there. Camel's hump. So go ahead, brother.
Because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof.
Right.
He is unclean unto you. Verse 5, and the coney,
right,
because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean. And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, but not the hoof, he is unclean unto you.
Don't be eating a rabbit. You can't go up to Nova Savage and eat a rabbit, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Verse 7, and the swine.
The swine.
Though he divideth the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you.
Don't mess with the swine. And I think that's plain. Like, we ain't really worried about the camel, the coney, the hare, because our community as Black, Hispanic, and Indian people, we don't naturally do that. Right? Specifically in the Black community, we don't do that. We ain't eating no camel. We don't really eat no hare. Now, we getting
the rabbit.
Rabbit.
Mississippi down south.
They may eat some raccoon.
Raccoon.
I know they eat
our people that's back in the woods.
Yeah.
Eat the rabbit.
I seen a brother in Mississippi eating a bear, bro. That brother had bear paws.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I
don't know why people do that.
Which is crazy. Again, don't eat that type of stuff, right? We kind of get you back to the basics, okay? Give me Deuteronomy 7. 14 and 7. So
the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, and verse 7. Nevertheless, these ye shall not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the cloven hoof,
right,
as the camel and the hare,
right,
and the coney. For they chew the cud, but divide not the hoof.
Come on.
Therefore they are unclean unto you.
Right, go ahead.
And the swine, because it divideth the hoof, yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass.
Now the interesting thing is, I don't think a lot of people realize how much pork is involved in a lot of foods on a day-to-day basis. So when you think about pork, it isn't just like the pork chop. It's pork shoulder, it's pig feet, it's chitlins, it's bacon, it's pepperoni, it's ham, it's a lot of different things that comes with pork. And you gotta walk away from that. The Lord say no. Thou sayest.
You know, a lot of our people don't even realize that bacon and pepperoni are pork.
Come.
Usually, when you go to the pizza spot,
Right,
and you get pepperoni on your pizza,
mm-hmm.
it's not turkey. More than likely, it's not beef turkey.
Right.
More than likely, unless they explicitly say that.
Correct.
Generally speaking, that's gonna be swine, brother.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And bacon, I mean, I don't know. I guess we just don't talk about these things. We just eat it.
Which is why the lesson is important, because they make alternatives to foods like this. There is a beef bacon.
Beef bacon.
There is a turkey bacon.
It is.
You can eat. Then the beef bacon is definitely good. Now the turkey bacon,
I'm gonna pass on the turkey.
you know what I'm saying? It tastes a little weird to me, but everything else is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? That's the beef bacon is good, and the rest of the turkey is good. You know what I'm saying? So
like here too, we ain't even touched on the pork that's inside of your candies.
Candies,
Inside of
you're
your,
right.
What you call it? Like, you know how people like to eat the pies, like your sweet pies.
Mm-hmm.
Man, a lot of that stuff had. Well, actually, we are.
Yeah,
because
we going down that
just a little
street.
bit of. Oh, okay.
Come. All right. Give me the water animals. Now remember, it said it must have fins or scales. So let's go Leviticus 11:10, and you get Deuteronomy 14:10.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 10. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the water, Salakia, in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
So in the South here, we got this big crawfish festival that we eat. As a matter of fact, the festival is called Mud Bugs. Right? Think about it. The name is horrible, but you ain't supposed to eat that. Crawfish.
Like, just zoom in on
mussels, lobster, and they consider lobster a delicacy. Shrimp.
Oh man, you eat lobster, you done made it.
You done made it. They got the restaurant style with the steak. It's called surf and turf.
Surf and turf. All
right. Get you a lobster and eat it with your meal. But the Lord has declared that we should not do this.
Dip it in butter.
You know, so for all of the brothers and sisters who's just coming into what does the Bible say, you start there. And you're just like, all right, he told me not to eat it, I'm not eating it. And granted, it's gonna raise some hairs against most of your family that do eat it. But you got to decide to whether love the Lord like he told you to love him, or make up your own rules and gaslight the Lord and be a narcissist against the Lord. You don't want to do that, right? Don't provoke him to his face, right? Get that in Deuteronomy.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
And whatsoever have not fins and scales, ye may not eat. It is unclean unto you.
So the scripture tells us that we need 2 or 3 witnesses. So we're going at least 2 witnesses strong just on what's unclean and clean, right? So the Lord made that notion clear early, right? Then you got the sky animals, right? Let's get Leviticus 11:13 and Deuteronomy 14:12.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
And these are they which ye shall have in abomination among the fowls.
Right. So the sky animals are called fowls. Keep going.
They shall not be eaten.
Right.
They are an abomination. The eagle, and the ossifrage, and the osprey, and the vulture.
You gonna eat a vulture? You a weird individual. I ain't gonna hold you.
If you eat vulture,
you're
a terrible person.
Diabolical. You. Yeah, nigga, I got some vulture on the grill. You know? What? Hey man, I'm out of here. You know? Don't call me no more.
I like you, but the truth of the matter is, we should that same type of intensity for the vulture should be the same type of intensity we should have for the pork.
That's true, but the thing is, we wasn't eating vulture even back in the day. At least with the swine and the crawfish, that was a part of the makeshift meal that we were forced to eat. But nobody trying to catch no vulture. We wasn't trying to eat no eagle. No, so it's the bat. Come on, man. 14 again. Start at the top.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14 and verse 12. But these are they of which ye shall not eat: the eagle and the ostrich, and the osprey, and the gled, and the kite, and the vulture after his kind, and every raven after his kind, and the owl,
and the nighthawk, and the cacao, and the hawk after his kind,
Right.
the little owl, and the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican.
That's, the pelican is a Louisiana state bird.
State bird, bro.
You'll be tried in court and put under the prison for eating a damn pelican, man.
That's crazy.
Go ahead.
And the gear eagle, and the cormorant, and the stork, and the heron after his and the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat.
So it shows, hey man, y'all leave the unclean food alone, man.
Please.
You know what I'm saying? Let's hit the insect out. Leviticus 23 on what you can't eat.
Leviticus 11 and 23. But all other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you.
Right. Don't be trying to eat a bee. Don't be trying to eat a goddamn hornet.
Wasp.
Flies.
Sting your tongue.
Don't do that, y'all. Go ahead.
Verse 24. For these ye shall.
Oh, come. Go pick up in 19 of Deuteronomy. 14.
Come on, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, and verse 19. And every creeping thing that flieth is unclean unto you; they shall not be eaten.
Right. So it goes through a list of everything that don't mess with that. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to eat no mealworm, right? Don't leave that alone.
Brothers want to be on Fear Factor.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh, dragonfly.
Right? Again, here's the list. Don't try to eat no dog. You want to eat a tiger and a bear and mussels and shrimp and the buzzard. You gonna eat a buzzard? Come on, the scorpion and the centipede. Leave turtle soup alone, okay?
That is horrible.
But that's some Louisiana food.
That's a fact. That a lot of that is Louisianian food. They do a swamp dish and they put all that stuff together. I ain't tried it, but I hear it still in conversation today. So
Oysters.
yeah, just leave that stuff alone. Let's get on to the next one. All right, so let's look at the diseases that was talked about when we go into some of these unclean food. Because a lot of times we don't know what to tell our people. Again, there could be a disease in any meat if you don't cook it thoroughly. You want to make sure that that's clear. But these diseases are a deeper look into pork-related stuff. So let's get into trichinalia and trichinosis, right? It's caused by a parasitic worm found primarily in undercooked swine. Right? The larvae embeds in muscle tissue, and it can survive despite high temps if the meat is not cooked evenly. I've been seeing TikToks when people be taking stuff out of the grease and put it immediately in their mouth. Smoke just coming out. It's just you gotta let stuff cook all the way through. But with the pork is just saying that it can survive normal temperatures like you would cook a beef all the way through. It can survive that type of stuff. Leave the swine alone.
Salakia, one of the things that I have heard or came across is that before they give us the pork, they have to take radiation and put it to the pork to get a certain type of parasite out.
That's tough.
So basically, even when you're eating pork within itself, you basically eating radiation.
That's tough.
Off rip.
But if you got to do all of that for it to be edible, come on, man.
Not only does the
come on,
not
man.
only does pork itself have carcinogens
Land.
that can cause not only do you got pork itself that can cause cancer because of the carcinogen, but as well as throwing the radiation on top of it. When you cook it, you eating the radiation as well.
Yeah.
It's just not a clean in order to be trying to indulge in.
Right. When you get trichinalia, you get diarrhea, abdominal pain, nausea, and then you get muscle pain, swelling around the eyes. Look at that kid right there. Fever and weakness.
Little Keegan right there.
You know?
Like it. And on that and on this swelling around the eyes, this is what you would call periorbital edema, right? Which means fluid around the eyes. And what people don't understand, so right now it's giving you the what's gonna happen immediately, right? You're gonna get the swelling around the eyes, but what people don't understand is you're not supposed to have swelling anywhere in your body. So when you have the swelling that can be in your eyes, it's gonna lean up into your arteries, and that can stop artery flow. And your arteries are the main thing that carries your oxygenated blood to the rest of your body or to your extremities.
Okay.
And if it cut off that flow, you're gonna have, that's what you're gonna call embolism or thrombosis, and that causes death.
This brother here is a walking encyclopedia.
That's crazy.
You know, I'm gonna say it plain. You can get severe cases of heart and nervous systems, right? Called myocarditis. But nonetheless, pigs contracted because they eat trash. They eat rodents. Rodents was against the stuff that you wasn't supposed to be eating. And other dead animals. You throw something in a pig pen, it will not survive. Nothing will survive in it. It's gonna eat the bones and all. Right?
Mhm.
Let's get the next disease. What we got here? I think I got it. Yersinia. I don't know how to say intercolitis, but it's a bacteria carried in pork intestines, especially in undercooked chitlins. Now, you know, definitely in the South, but amongst the black community for certain is chitlins for New Year's. That's a part of the festival.
January 1st, brother.
January 1st, right? For their community, right? But what happens is you get this, again, bloody diarrhea, abdominal pain, and it mimics appendicitis, right? It can trigger arthritis and joint pain. And children are especially vulnerable due to immature immune systems, right? This stuff lives on after you done plated it, right? It survives refrigeration temperatures. Now, most refrigerations are set between 35 and 33, right above freezing, right? Cross-contamination from raw pork juices is a major transmission route, right? That's why this is what people don't understand. They be like, just peel the pork off. Cross-contamination here, sister.
You gonna get a pizza with half pepperoni and half just cheese.
Right.
Come on, man.
Cheese pork.
You
eating pork pizza.
pork pieces. Cross-contamination.
Pepperoni off, man.
You don't want nothing to do with that. But you have a long-term autoimmune flare-ups, and that stays with you.
Salaki, if I could add as well,
Go ahead.
right? When you
That's right.
it says appendicitis, right?
Right.
I believe that actually this does mess with your appendix within itself, right?
Right.
So just real quick, the appendix helps the digestion and return good bacteria to help the immune system.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it says here leads to long-term autoimmune flare-ups, because it's affecting your appendix, right? And appendicitis is the inflammation of the appendix.
It's the appendix.
So if once it gets into the appendix and it starts messing it up, it's not putting that good bacteria into your immune system, which means that it basically showers your immunity. You don't have no more immune.
Yeah.
No immune system after that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly what this Yersinia is doing to the body. It's actually is messing up your appendix.
Come on. That's
You get cut out the appendix, or am I thinking about something else?
You can live without your appendix, but you're gonna have what you would call sepsis. It's gonna talk about it a little bit more. All of these diseases that, when I looked at this slide, all of these go right along with each other. First, it goes into your appendix and messes up your immune system, hits the liver. Bro, the way you got it flowing is all praises.
come. Let's talk about hepatitis E, right? HEV. It's a viral liver infection commonly transmitted from pork, especially liver and sausage. That's your Jimmy Dean, yeah, your Italian sausage,
Boudin.
Man.
right? Now you can make some boudin with some clean meat. Anybody that know how to do that, holler at me.
Yep.
But it'll cause jaundice and fatigue, right side abdominal pain, and it says it can progress into acute liver failure, right? Especially in pregnant women. It survives typical cooking temperatures unless heated thoroughly. Very high prevalence in commercial pig farms, and that's the majority of the things that's going to be in your grocery store, right?
That's crazy.
Cross species from pigs to humans. So that's a thing that can happen. You get chronic infection, and you just start to fall off after that.
Oh, I got something to add on this too.
Go ahead, dictionary.
Right? This guy. It says in not verse 4. Hey, man.
Medical.
Chronic infection occurs in people with weaker immune system. If the pork has already ruptured your appendix.
Eh.
It leaves you have no more immune system. So now you leave room for what you would call hepatitis E, right? And it messes with your liver. Now, what's crazy about hepatitis E is there's no vaccine, which means you're gonna be just out and about on it.
That's tough.
And there's no way to cure that hepatitis E. You're just gonna have it.
Yeah.
And sooner or later you're gonna die.
That's right. That's and you should die, man. The Lord done told you not to mess with this stuff, and then you're going back. Now, if you don't know, Lord, may He have mercy on you, and allow you time to get it right. But now it's time for all men to repent, pursuant to Acts 17, right?
Fact.
Let's get the next one, right? This is Vibrio, right? Comes in two forms: Bonificius and Parahemolyticus.
They're Latin, brother.
I know, right? I was never big on pronunciation.
I think that's Latin.
Bacteria naturally living in warm coastal waters accumulates in oysters, clams, and crabs. So now we done jump to the fins and scales, your water animals, shellfish-related stuff. It causes diarrhea, stomach cramps, and vomiting. This thing right here, it can't be smelled or tasted in contaminated seafood, right? The vivo bonificius can enter the bloodstream, leading to sepsis and death. Individuals with liver diseases are at extremely high risk of death. This is often linked to raw oysters eaten in restaurants. And I know the Black community goes to the oyster bars.
Right.
They'll be like, yeah, let me get a plate of them oysters. I got a date.
Got to get them broiled, bro.
That's crazy. But this can cause skin lesions and necrotizing fasciitis if it enters the wounds. It ain't gonna be healed.
Salakia too, as I was just going back to, right?
Bring it
as
out.
I was going right back to, the reason I said you had it laid out so perfectly, right? Is when you look at it, you're gonna first get your senile, right? And that's gonna ruin your appendix, and that's gonna shoot your immune system all the way out the way. As you keep on eating pork, you're then gonna get hepatitis E because you have an autoimmune system. It's gonna attack something else now.
Yeah,
it attacks the liver. Now you got jaundice, right? And then after that, now you're gonna get Vibrio once you cross over and like, yeah, I'm going to the seafood bowl. I'm gonna get me some seafood. So right, you're gonna get now. What's gonna happen is, with it attacking your liver, you're gonna get what you call sepsis. Sepsis is basically when all of your organs in your body are shutting down. So that's what causes the death. You see what I'm saying? You go from getting your SIDA to hepatitis E, and then you cross over and go get your seafood, and then you're gonna get Vibrio. Your body is completely done.
Hey, it sounds like to me that's graduating levels of judgment, bro.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Hey, yo, man, leave this stuff alone, man. All right? Let's look at the norovirus in shellfish. This is the #1 cause of foodborne illness globally. Shellfish are a major carrier. That's your shrimp. That's your crawfish. That's your oysters. That's all of that stuff, right? All your shellfish. It causes explosive vomiting, diarrhea, cramps, dehydration, right? Extremely contagious. Infects small exposure can infect large groups. That's crazy. So you can infect somebody else by this. This is mind blowing.
No, that's my daddy. He got gout. That was he was huge. Still is huge on freaking shrimp for some reason.
Yeah, you gotta bring this up to him, right?
Yeah, he got gout, and they literally say you need to stop eating it.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact. Shellfish is like swine. It filters sewage, contaminated water, and viruses concentrates in tissues, right? It's resistant to common disinfectants, including alcohol and sanitizers. The outbreak is often traced to oysters in winter months. This is crazy, right? Viruses survive cold water and refrigeration. What you got, Op?
Well, I was just gonna say, just for another fun fact on this, is that the norovirus, when people say, "Oh, the stomach flu going around," it's more than likely because somebody was eating shellfish.
That's wild.
Because that's what norovirus come from, the stomach flu.
That's crazy. Let's look at hepatitis A. This infects the liver, causing jaundice, fatigue, and nausea, kind of like the other one did, right? Often linked to contaminated shellfish harvesting waters, cause large outbreaks in coastal seafood consuming communities, right? Florida, Louisiana, what you got up in the coast area, East Coast area, all
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Can leave the shellfish alone, man. Carolinas, you know,
Yep.
California. Shellfish filter human waste from polluted water, concentrating the virus. Highly contagious. It spreads easily in household and food prep areas. So again, you can't have your family eating something outside of this, because that can jump onto your clean food. This stuff can hop from food to food.
Right.
Right? It survives freezing and low temperature cooking. Good. All right. Shigella. Is that how you say that? Shigella? Shigella? Shigella. All right. It carries bacteria from feces. This is for the insect style. From feces, garbage, corpses, and sewage. Roach droppings in the body parts triggers asthma and respiratory inflammation. Can transmit parasitic worms via contaminated surfaces. Insects accumulate pesticides and environment toxins in their bodies, right? Associated with typhoid, cholera, and dysentery transmission. It survives freezing and low temperatures cooking. So again, you out here eating the mealworm, and you're going to get all types of bacteria in you.
You're finished.
You know, I was watching this on TikTok. They were eating spiders and they was eating flies in the Asian community. And it was, now granted, that's their delicacies,
Flies, bro?
Flies.
Flies,
The flies was from the Hamite community, and the spiders was from the Asian community.
Flies.
They was making fly patties.
Fly patties, yeah.
Fly patties.
Fly patties.
African.
It was horrible. It was
They have like an influx of flies in Africa, and it's so many flies.
They make fly patties.
It's like, all right, what we gonna do with them? You know what? Like Hamite said, we're going to eat them.
That is crazy.
It's crazy.
Fly patty. When you get a chance, I want y'all to go look up fly patties in Africa, and then go look up the spider dishes that they make in Asia. Right? Get the next one. All right, so we talked about some stuff on the insects, but you always got the skeptic and what they're gonna say. And the first thing they're gonna say is, well, the New Testament voids the dietary laws, right?
All things are clean, brother.
All things are clean, brother. You can eat what you want. That was Old Testament. You ain't gotta do that no more.
Pray over it and eat, brother.
Pray over it and eat. We're gonna deal with all of that today.
All praise.
Christ did not violate the dietary law. That's plain. If you said you're walking out to Christ, then show me where Christ did eat unclean foods. Well, you say he had to keep the law perfectly so that you can. It don't even make sense. Christ kept the law so you can no longer have to follow the law.
He kept the law so you could break it.
So you can break it. Or Christ loved the Lord so you don't have to.
Matter of fact, he got crucified so you can continue to break the
so
law.
you continue to do it.
But he was crucified because you was breaking the law.
Because you was breaking it, right? Hebrews 10:26 tell you, hey man, there's no more sacrifice that remaineth if you pursue in that manner of deliberate sin. Right? Let's look at the Gospels. Let's just read about it, right? Matthew 15, Mark 7. Those are the text. People, this is what your skeptics is gonna bring out. When they say Christ cleansed all food, you can even read commentaries and people say that. But when you look at the context, that is not what is going on. Let's get 15 and 2.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 2.
Come on.
Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread.
The context, this is the 2. That means that's the so. Go back up one. Read 1.
Verse 1 says, then came to Jesus' scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do the disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread.
So that whatever happens next is in context relating to not eating, not washing your hands before you eat it. Now, I would go on to say that you probably should wash your hands.
It's a good idea, bro.
Hygiene is definitely good, but the point he's making is it's no law saying that you had to do that. They're not sinning because they don't wash their hands. Then it goes on in there to tell you that, it's not, well, we'll deal with that, right? Let's get Mark 7 just to read. reiterate.
This is Mark chapter 7 and verse 2. And when they saw some of the disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, with unwashen hands.
What was defiled?
Unwashen hands.
So the whole thing dealt with unwashen hands. That's plain. Go ahead.
They found fault.
Okay.
Verse
3. Yeah, go ahead in 3.
Verse 3, for the Pharisees and all the Jews,
Mm-hmm.
except they wash their hands oft, eat not, holding the tradition of the elders.
So the tradition of the elders, wash your hands before you eat, right? So in reality, now you got to ask the question, what defiles the man? Let's go back to Matthew 15. Let's look at verse 11.
This the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
Not that which goeth into the man defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth that defileth a man.
So what defiles a man? That which comes out of the mouth defileth the man. So what your skeptics would like to say is, well, you can eat unclean stuff because it ain't what you eat that's going to defile you. That's not what he's saying here. What he's saying is the things that are already in your heart, if you have the nerve to overstep the boundaries of God, you're already defiled.
Mm-hmm.
You are a defiled man, right? However, because he gave us rules to go by, we know that there is food that is unclean to you. And things, well, Salakia, let me say it. There is clean food, and then there are animals that are unclean to you, because unclean animals aren't considered food.
Right.
Right? Let's get jump down to verse 17.
Come on. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 17. Do not ye yet understand that whatsoever enters in at a mouth going into the belly,
Mm-hmm.
it is cast out into the draw?
Mm-hmm.
But those things which proceeded out of the mouth come forth from the heart.
So if your heart isn't right, thinking that you can rewrite the laws that God had already do, you can do the things that God told you not to do. You can become God and tell God that no longer matters, right?
Right.
That's a heart issue. Go ahead.
And they defiled the man.
Right, because now you're making yourself equal with God.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
It says, for out of the heart proceed evil thoughts,
Uh-huh.
murders,
Uh-huh.
adulteries,
Uh-huh.
fornication,
Uh-huh.
theft,
Right.
false witnesses,
Mm-hmm.
blasphemies.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things which defile a man.
That's what defiles you, right?
Come on, watch this. But to eat with unwashed hands defileth not a man.
Right.
Sling.
Sling. He brings it home. He tells you what that chapter's about. It ain't about Christ declaring something clean. He ain't do that. What he told you what was considered defilement on the deep level, but as it relates to the unwashed hands, they don't defile you.
Right.
Ain't nothing in the law about that, right? Where was I? Yeah, Mark 7. Get Mark 7:15.
This is Mark 7 and 15. There is nothing from without a man
Mm-hmm.
that entering into him can defile him.
Right.
But the thing which come out of him, those are they that defile a man.
Mm-hmm. Keep jump to 21 through 23.
Verse 21. For from within, out of the heart of men proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness,
Mm-hmm.
wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye,
Mm-hmm.
blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man.
Right. So let's look at some questions here.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't food defile a man? Right? Food doesn't defile a man because food is synonymous with those animals considered clean in the dietary law.
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand, it's only food if it's clean.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going to say you can eat a pig because a pig was never considered clean.
Right.
It's not something considered food, right? Unclean animals are not considered food, right? So what does the attitude of the heart, or why does the attitude of the heart defile a man? Because out of the heart proceed evil thoughts and that lead to action, right? Genesis 6 and 5. Let's get that real quick.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6 verse 5.
Come on.
And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
So it's evil to think that you can eat pork now. That's a thought from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
When he told you specifically, you cannot do that. That's unclean to you. The swine is unclean to you.
If you pray over your food and bless it, man.
Yeah, we're going to deal with that too. We're going to deal with that too. Don't even trip.
He gonna clean it.
Right? Let's get Jeremiah 17:9, because you have to remember, well, God know my heart. What? All right. Give me Jeremiah 17:9.
Verse 9 of Jeremiah 17.
Read.
The heart is deceitful
Uh-huh.
above all things,
Right.
and is desperately wicked.
Ooh.
Who can know it?
Right. So you got to think about that. If God knows your heart, the reason why it's a defilement right here, because he know your heart is wicked. You want to do what he told you not to do. Right? Let's get that Psalms 94.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 94, verse 11.
Come on.
The Lord knoweth the thoughts of men,
Uh-huh.
that they are vanity.
Right. See, your heart is connected to your mind. Your thoughts ain't nothing but you. When he says vanity, that means your pride level and got to the point to where you decide that you know more than God, or you can decide what God meant when he said X, Y, and Z. You can decide a better path than what God had already told you.
You know better.
You know, you can't do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as the skeptic says, the New Testament voids the dietary law, Matthew and Mark both show that Christ's stance on the dietary law was to uphold it. Because remember, food is considered only clean animals.
Right.
You can't, you're not considered food if it's unclean. All right? Let's get the next one. But the prophets had to adhere because they hadn't come. The prophets had to do it because Christ hadn't come yet, right? The prophets hold that the dietary law will be a part of Christ's judgment when he returns. That's our position. You saying that Isaiah or the Ezekiel or Jeremiah, they had to adhere to it because Christ hadn't come to nullify that point yet, right? The return of Christ includes judgment of the adherence to the law while on earth, even in captivity. Look at the prophet Isaiah. 65, 2-4, please.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, verse 2. I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people,
Mm-hmm.
which walketh in a way that was not good,
Mm-hmm.
after their own thought.
Mm-hmm.
A people that provoketh me to anger continually to my face,
Right?
that sacrifices in gardens and burneth incense upon altars of brick,
Right. So you see that. He one more verse. Go ahead.
which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments,
Mm-hmm.
which eats swine's flesh,
Mm-hmm.
and broth of an abominable things is in their vessels.
The Lord knows us so well. He know that pork was gonna come up. He keep bringing that out. All right. Gives me 66 and 15 through 17.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, and verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire.
Oh, so if he comes with fire, then this is in the future, right? Because he didn't come with fire in his first presentation here, right? Keep going.
For behold, the Lord will come with fire,
Mm-hmm.
and with his chariots like a whirlwind,
Right?
to render his
Anger.
to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
So he's gonna rebuke with flames of fire. Yo, and it's so fitting because the way you deal with this food is you have to cook it over a fire. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna be your fire then. I'm gonna be your recompense. I'm gonna show you how to really wield fire.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead.
For by fire and by his sword
That's right.
will the Lord plead with all flesh.
Hey, listen, man. Did it or did it not say eat not this or eat this?
It's clear.
He's gonna there's gonna be no excuse that remains. He's gonna be like, it says in Leviticus, thou shalt not eat the swine is unclean to you. Right? Did you eat swine? Right? You're gonna be like, well, I ain't know. Whoa there, partner.
Then he said it again.
Let's go to Deuteronomy. You ain't read them too? All right. I get what you're saying. You was forced to eat it. But now that you know, was you still eating after you found out? And that's going to be the real test. Right?
Oh.
Keep going on that.
Verse 16, by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. They that sanctify and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst.
That means you coming up with something to justify why you're justifying why he said don't do it to where you can do it. You're coming up with your own doctrine on why it's okay to eat pork, why it's okay to eat shellfish. That's what purifying themselves in the garden behind one tree in the midst mean. Go ahead.
Eating swine's flesh.
See, we dealing with that pork again. Go ahead.
And the abomination. In the mouse.
I'm curious, but who is eating mouse in the community?
That's
go ahead.
Shall be consumed together, saith Yahweh.
This is a future prophecy. There is judgment for eating abominable things. There's no way around that. It's not that I'm making up. This hasn't happened. If this has happened, we've missed the boat. We're not going.
Gone.
All right? Let's look at the prophet of Ezekiel.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 4, and verse number 13.
I mess with Ezekiel heavy.
Come.
So, I'm always throw him in there. Go ahead.
And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. Then said I, Lord God, behold, my soul hath not been polluted, for from my youth up even till now have I not eaten of that which dieth of itself, or is torn in pieces. Neither came there abominable flesh into my mouth.
So years, many years after the dietary law was established, Ezekiel makes the claim to the Lord. Now, mind you, he's having a conversation with the Lord. And the Lord is telling him about how they finna go into captivity, right? And he tells them that they're going to eat defiled bread. The reason it's defiled because the Gentiles don't give a care. The heathen doesn't care how your food is. It's going to be, they're going to feed you the stuff that I told you not to eat.
Right.
And Ezekiel is saying, hey, listen, Lord, I have not, I ain't ate none of that stuff. I just want to make that clear when we having this conversation. You know, I ain't did that, but, being a part of the children of Israel, you got to suffer the punishment with them. Well,
Right.
So Ezekiel refused to eat unclean food. Give me 22 and 26, Ezekiel.
Ezekiel 22 and verse number 26. Her priests have violated my law.
Hold on. Hold that. Go to Ezekiel 9, right? I'm going to show you this real quick.
Came to me in the spirit.
All right. I want you to go to Ezekiel 9, and I want you to where it says start at verse 6.
Ezekiel 9 and verse 6. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children,
Right.
and women.
Nobody's been spared. Keep going.
But come not near any man upon whom is the mark.
That's the mark of the Spirit as identified in Ephesians. Keep going.
Begin at my sanctuary.
I'll start at the church. Now, he was reading in 22 where he said, my priest, I'll go back to 22.
What was it, 22 and 26?
Yeah, 26.
Yep, it says, her priests have violated my law.
Right.
And have profaned mine holy things.
How would they profane the holy things? Keep going.
They have put no difference between the holy and profane.
See, when they got in captivity, they start acquiescing to the rules of the captivity.
Right.
Right. And doing things to just get by. But as you'll see, that doesn't work. The Lord is still wanting you to do your best, even in captivity. Right. You got some more on that?
Con. Yes. It goes on to say, neither have they showed difference between the unclean and clean,
right?
And have hid their eyes from my Sabbaths, and I am profaned among them.
You ain't even did what he told you to do.
Right.
Ezekiel is saying, the Lord is telling Ezekiel that even up to this point in history, y'all ain't even made a difference between clean and unclean.
Right.
After I done told you more than once. Right? Give me Ezekiel 44 and 23.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 44, and verse number 23. And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and profane.
Right. So now we're back into the kingdom. In the kingdom, remember the future aspect of it, the priests will go back to doing what the law has said. And one of their jobs is to do what?
Teach my people the difference between the holy and profane.
Come on.
And cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean.
Right. You're gonna be able to know. It's not gonna be up for debate.
Right.
It's not even up for debate now, but it's, it's gonna be written on your heart at that point.
Right.
Give me that Jeremiah real quick. Because so just to close out Ezekiel, he refused to eat unclean food, the priest violated, and future it was reinstated. Okay, the dietary law is reinstated. We're showing you that the Lord ain't have no plans of stopping you from following the dietary law. He always wanted you to follow it. Right? Y'all got something?
I was gonna say, really, it's more so reiterated.
Reiterated. That's right.
Versus reinstated.
Yeah.
Because it was never unstated.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
It was stated with exclamation points from the gate.
Bring that out.
You
So
know?
I'm about to go ahead and correct this slide, man. It's supposed to be reiterated, not reinstated.
Brother going off.
You know what I'm saying? Give me Jeremiah 2.
This is book of Jeremiah, chapter 2 and verse 7.
Come on.
And I brought you into a plentiful country
Uh-huh.
to eat the fruit thereof
Uh-huh.
and the goodness thereof.
Mhm.
But when ye entered, ye defiled my land
Mhm.
and made my heritage an abomination.
So how's the heritage of abomination? Anything that was tied to the abomination dealt with the things that he told you not to do that he thought was sinful.
Mm-hmm.
That would be eating things that's outside of the fruit that he told you what was good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Give me 16 and 18.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16 and verse 18.
Come on.
And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because they have defiled my land,
They
have filled my inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things.
So remember, we had read in Leviticus that you're not even supposed to be dealing with a carcass that was of an abominable thing.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? And here you are in Jeremiah, still not doing right. Okay, let's get the prophet Daniel. We now, mind you, we'll get to that point. Let's get Daniel.
Daniel was a good one.
Daniel chapter 1, verse 8. Let's get that.
Daniel chapter 1 and verse number 8.
Mm-hmm.
But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat.
He said he wasn't going to defile himself with the portion of the king's meat. What does that mean? That means Daniel understood what the law. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you something about Daniel. Daniel, by Ezekiel, was known to be a good dude.
That's a fact.
Though Daniel, Noah, and Job went through it, Daniel was caught up in that because Daniel was solid. So Daniel said, I'm not going to eat the king's meat. Go ahead.
Nor with one.
Oh, Daniel is not going to eat the defiled food of the king. Go ahead. Salakia. Daniel's not going to eat defiled animals of the king. That king was Nebuchadnezzar. And technically, when he died, Belshazzar, I believe that was his name. And then from that point, you get into the Maccabean period, which you have them. He's basically making the same statement that, hey, I'm not eating this stuff that I'm not supposed to be eating.
Come.
If it's not food, I'm not going to eat it.
Right. Right.
Go ahead.
Nor with the wine which is drank. Therefore, he requested Salakia. Therefore, he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself.
Hey, Daniel had made it clear, right? Jump to 12 through 16.
Verses 12.
Well, chapter 1, verse 12. Yeah.
Verse 12. Prove thy servants,
right.
I beseech thee,
Come on.
10 days, and let them give us post to eat and water to drink.
Right. So Daniel's like, look, well, just let me basically do what I'm supposed to do, and I'm, without defiling myself, and we'll kind of figure out who had nourishment diet. Go ahead.
Then let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of children that eat of the portion of the king's meat.
Right.
and as thou seest, deal with thy servants.
Right.
So he consented to them in this matter and proved them 10 days.
Right, because the king like, all right, man, I just got y'all in captivity and stuff, so
He probably really like, bro, whatever.
well, you know, I hear you out. I mean, I ain't a bad king like you think I am. I'll let you get your little meal on.
Get your little pulse.
You know,
what I'm saying?
go ahead.
Verse 15, and at the end of 10 days, their countenance appeared fairer, fatter in flesh.
That's crazy.
Than
man.
all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat.
Right. That's because they did what they were supposed to do, right? Let's get
Salakia.
Go ahead.
You know what I was thinking when I was reading this. This is
I
another.
don't know what you was thinking, but go ahead.
God, this is another context, right? You know, we was talking about not long ago. We was talking about the contest that Elijah had with the prophet.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
This is another contest in a like manner where it's the prophet of the Lord, the ambassador, spokesman of the Lord versus that of the heathen nation.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And of course, the men of the Lord prevailed.
Right. It's not the statement, taste the Lord and see.
Oh, taste and
Come.
You know what I'm saying? The Lord's gonna protect you. The Lord,
bro.
He's gonna do it.
Yo, he's powerful.
Right? Let's get Daniel 10:3.
This is Daniel chapter 10 and verse number 3. I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all, till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled.
Now, at this point, he's on a fast, but it's essentially why I wanted this point to be brought out is that Daniel didn't eat any unclean animals, and that which he could eat, he refused to eat it while he was waiting on the vision, right? So for what it's worth, he recognized how food is related to a celestial encounter. Yeah, a spiritual encounter.
God.
So, but Daniel refused to eat unclean meat. Ezekiel refused to eat unclean meat. Isaiah was like, la. And Jeremiah was like, man, this is, we weren't supposed to do this either, right? The scripture says a matter is established by 2 or 3 witnesses.
God.
2 witnesses declare the importance in the future. 2 witnesses declare the importance of refusal in captivity and the realization of what is abominable, right? Let's get the next one. But here's the claim. The apostles show that adherence to the dietary law is not necessary. Paul says, God forbid, we make the law void. He says that in Romans 6:15.
I got it.
All right? Let's bring it out.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 15. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law,
right?
Under grace?
All right. So
God forbid.
God forbid. Give me Acts 24:14. Because what you got to realize is Paul doesn't contradict the dietary law. He lives according to it.
All right.
Right? Let's get 24 and 14.
Come on. This is the book of Acts, chapter 24, right? In verse 14. But this I confess unto thee.
This is what Paul is saying, right?
Right.
Okay.
But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets.
So if he's believing all things in the law and the prophets, he's living according to that, right?
God.
So food being a stumbling block. Let's deal with some of Paul's stuff, right? Let's get Romans 14:2. How long we been at it?
About an hour and a half.
All right.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 14, verse 2. For one believeth that he may eat all things. Another who is weak eateth herbs.
So jump to 6.
Verse 6 says, he that regardeth the day, regardeth it unto Yahweh. And he that regardeth not the day, to the Lord he doeth no regard it.
And then jump to 13 and 14.
Verses 13 says, let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way. I know and am persuaded by the Lord Yahawashi that there is nothing unclean of itself, but to him that esteemeth anything to be unclean, To him it is unclean.
So in this context, this is about vegetarian food versus people who eat meats. So herbivores versus carnivores, right? This judgment is about shared meals, especially that which is of the marketplace. So people was buying stuff out of the marketplace, had idols and things like that. And this you'll see this further in the next one as well. That idols were set up where they bought stuff, and people were saying that you can't eat that because it's for and Paul's like that's not unclean in and of itself. You know, the intent does matter. So Paul is just allowing you to know that in Romans, you know, idol is a no thing. Let's get 1 Corinthians.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse number 4. As concerning therefore the eating of those things that were offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is none other God but one. Verse 5, for though...
Well, jump to 9 and 13. I'm just roll through the selected verses.
Verse 9, but take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
And 10 through 20. Oh, 9 through 13. Go ahead.
For if any man see thee which has knowledge sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols? And through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish, for whom Christ died? But when ye sin so against the brethren, and wound their conscience, ye sin against Christ. Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I will eat no flesh while the world standeth, lest I make my brother to offend.
Yeah, so Paul is basically saying here, don't cause other people to stumble. You got to have faith in the Lord Christ and know that the idols is nothing. If you think about it now, every store you go to got some type of idol set up in it. So what, you can't go grocery shopping? You get what I'm saying? So, but in the event you bringing somebody in that don't understand that, look, I got a garden at the house. And with that, we can eat some potatoes and some yams and some, you know, some stuff that you see as pure and plain until their faith is built up to be able to withstand, right? Let's get chapter 10, verse 20 and 21.
1 Corinthians 10 and verse 20. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils,
right,
and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
Right.
Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
Hold on, I got a precept for that. Go to Proverbs 23. Let me show you this. Hit me in the spirit, man. Right? Let's get Proverbs 23. Let's get I think it's verse 6.
This is Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 6. Eat the bread of him that hath an evil eye.
See?
Sling.
So that goes to the point of, you know, eating with people and they don't understand, like, they know you don't eat the things that they eat, and to a certain degree they want to try to get you over there just so you can be recognized of eating with them. Now, there is a time and a place where that's necessary, like Christ did. He went to go eat with the sinners, but you have to be witnessing in those moments. If you're eating for the sake of just quote unquote shits and giggles, you know, it's probably best to stay away from the appearance of evil as recorded in the book of Thessalonians. Right? Give me so in Corinthians there was this marketplace called Agora. It was right before the temple, and that temple had idol worship. So when you walking up to the Agora, it was really not well distinguished from the temple, because they would buy it and go into the temple and sacrifice and come back out and sell it. So it's one of those things. But let's get Colossians 2 and 16.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 16. Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of any holy day or of the new moon or of the Sabbath days.
So what he was fighting in Colossians was what you call asceticism and Gnosticism. And basically what they was getting at is they wanted you to suffer in such a way that you didn't enjoy the fruits of life in and of itself. Like you couldn't be happy. They wanted you to be in this summer moment all the time. And so what they're saying is, read that again.
Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of any holy day.
So those people was judging the believers because they were going out and they would celebrate the high holy days. They would enjoy themselves. And the ascetics and the Gnostic people was like, you know, how you believing in the Lord and you this happy? You know you're supposed to be in a sufferable state, suffer like the Lord suffered. You know, so they ain't
gaslighting.
Yeah, Doc, it was crazy.
It was in a David God,
right? They was trying to judge you, man. And Paul is basically saying, don't let them do that, because if it's in the scripture of what can be done, then you can do it, right?
Gaslighting.
Let's get 1 Timothy 4.
This is 1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 4. For every creature of God is good, nothing to be refused.
Right. This is the one that they go to all the time, saying that if you pray over it, it's gonna be all right.
Y'all gonna get cut now.
Right. Let's go with it.
And nothing to be refused.
Come on.
If it be received for thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
For it is sanctified by the word of God and prayer.
So we went through the word of sanctification. It was pure, and it meant the holiness associated with it. You can't sanctify things that are unclean. It doesn't work.
Correct.
All right. It doesn't work in that manner. Remember, every creature equals inherent to its purpose, right? That's what a creature is. Food is qualified by what's considered clean in the dietary law, and unclean animals would not be sanctified for eating. So Paul's speech is sometimes hard. Give me 2 Peter 3 and 16. Let's cut all that out. 2 Peter 3 and 16. Now, quick on the board, up.
In Salakia too, in the context of what's sanctified, specifically when you're talking about sanctification, you're talking about something being set apart. You know, if to add to your point, the food is sanctified or it's set apart, it's designated to be eaten.
Correct.
You know.
Correct.
Furthermore,
come on.
Like Paul said, every creature of God is good, right? So, so, all right. So,
but good doesn't equal available to eat.
It doesn't mean edible, right? But for all right, so for the purpose, all right, so they're gonna say, all right, so that means the swine is good, brother, right?
Yeah, it's good at its purpose.
So all right, so the cockroach is good too, so you're gonna go eat the roach. That's what you're gonna go do.
The animal, every creature is good as what it was meant to do.
It's good for its design.
That's right. That's right.
It's the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, verse 16.
Come on.
As also in all his epistles,
talking about Paul,
speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable rest, as they do also the other scriptures, unto their own destruction.
Now see, Peter is bringing out what was already identified back up in Ezekiel, back up in Isaiah, and about how the judgment is going to come for disobeying what the Lord had told you to keep.
Right.
He wanted you to be obedient toward the dietary law, right? Let's get the next one. Shh. Go on back in there. All right, so now you have the apostles showed that the dietary law isn't adherence is not necessary. This is one that the elders generally bring in, right? Peter, talk about Peter in the book of Acts. And then we'll say, well, Peter only ate that what was commanded, and I can prove that. Peter doesn't contradict the dietary law and lives it accordingly, right? Let's get Acts 10, 9 and 17.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse number 9. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city,
Mm-hmm.
Peter went up to the housetop to pray about the 6th hour.
Mm-hmm.
And he became very hungry and would have eaten.
Mm-hmm.
But while they made ready, he fell into a trance, and saw the heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, and Salakia, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners, and let down to the earth. Verse 12,
Mm-hmm.
wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts on the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things,
Mm-hmm.
fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat.
Mm-hmm.
But Peter said, Not so, Lord,
Right.
for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean.
Right.
And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not Salakia.
One.
What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 16, this was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven.
Okay. So what you have here is Peter has the sheet let down on the four corners. And did you jump to 28?
No,
you just read to 17.
Yeah, well, I stopped at
All right,
16.
jump to 28 real quick.
Verse 28, and he said unto them, Ye know that is Salakia. He said unto them, Ye know that it is unlawful.
Come on, brother.
Salakia. And he said unto them, Ye know how it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But God hath showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
Right. So that goes to show you that let me find this precept. That goes to show you that what the vision was about. It can't represent food, and because it's not about food, it's about reconciling with the nation that was scattered abroad.
Right.
Give me Hosea 8 and 8.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 8 and verse 8. Israel is swallowed up.
Mm-hmm.
Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure.
You realize that when Peter got the sheet let down, he exclaims that he don't fool with this type of stuff. He did the same thing Ezekiel did.
Same thing as
He was like, I don't fool with it like that. You know? Give me Ecclesiastes 3 and 18. And this is gonna prove the point that 28 is definitely talking about those being of other people, right? Those unclean beasts being other people, right? 3 and 18.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 18. I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that see that they themselves are beasts.
Who are beasts?
That Salakia.
The sons of men.
Come.
Which goes to show you that men are considered beasts. That's what the vision was. It makes a direct correlation.
And that is a cut.
This is wisdom from Solomon, right? So, what we got next? All right. Israelites still ate unclean meats in captivity. So these are for the skeptics that are your quote-unquote Christian Israelites. They would go on, they hold to certain aspects of it, but then they'll go and celebrate Thanksgiving with you, right?
Crazy.
And to that point, I'm going to say many believing Israelites would die before defiling themselves with unclean meats, right? The apocryphal history show that conviction of adhering to the dietary. Let's get First Maccabees.
The first book of Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse number 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
So that goes to show you right then and there that the portion of what Antiochus wanted to do was ravage the state of Israel, right? Jump to 61 and 63.
Verse 61, and they hanged the infants about their necks.
Boy, the Greeks were crazy.
Yeah.
They gonna get what's coming to them. Come on.
And rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
Even through the persecution, it's like we're not doing it. That's the whole point behind Daniel. That's what he was saying, man. Even in captivity, I'm not doing that. Keep going.
63. Wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died.
So there you go. Death was becoming beautiful for them because I'd rather die than to defile. Right? Let's get 2 Maccabees 6. We ain't gonna read through this whole thing. I'm gonna just jump to the point. 2 Maccabees 6. Start at verse 18 just to give you a little context of who you're talking about.
This is the second book of Maccabees, chapter 6, and verse number 18. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh.
Come on.
But he choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth and came out of his own accord to the torment.
So that goes to show you, even the older folks, they was ready to die than to deal with the swine, right? That's what you call holy refutation.
Right.
All right, let's get 2 Maccabees chapter 7.
We went from the top.
I want you to see, start at verse 1.
This is the second book of Maccabees, chapter 7 and verse 1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips.
So that goes to show you many of them die, and they still don't eat the swine's flesh, right? Let's get the next one. So judgment or dismissal. Will God through Christ really punish us for eating unclean food? Well, scripture support the affirmative. Sin is breaking the commandments. Morals is concerned with the principles of right and wrong behavior and the goodness of badness of human character. Scripture treats dietary violations as a moral by the language of calling it abominations, by making you unclean by sin, and it requires atonement, right? And so in the judgment, you have Leviticus 4, chapters 4 and 5, which are used to atone for anything the Lord commanded not to be done. That's your first witness. Ezekiel 44 and 23 show the prophets tied judgment to consuming fire, to idol worship and dietary violations. Second witness. Isaiah 66 shows the prophet tied judgment of consuming fire to idol worship and dietary violations. That's your third witness. And then Revelations 2, 14 through 16, 20 and 23 shows that Christ's anger against the churches, and the part of the reason was dietary violation. The penalty is death, right? Because they was following the law of the Nicolaitans, right? So when you look at the timeline, what you have here is, if the whole world of existence is set through Monday through Sunday, Monday through Thursday is Old Testament, and you had to abide by the dietary law. Thursday through half of Saturday is the Apocrypha and New Testament, and you still had to abide by the dietary law.
And they showed you they would die for it.
And they was going to die for it. The rest of Saturday is today, and you saying that the dietary law is no longer in existence, but then Sunday come and you back to the dietary law. That don't make any sense. Does you get what I'm saying?
It defies all logic and reason, and it defies the super text, the super context of the scriptures.
So when you look at what present day is, Present day is what you call a grace period. Give me Acts 17 and 30 real quick.
This is Acts chapter 17 and verse 30. And the times of this ignorance God winked at, but now commandeth all men everywhere to repent.
So now he wants you to repent. He's giving you grace to repent. Repent and return back to the covenant of our forefathers. Right? This right here, in your own time, you can go through some names that they have for what is considered pork. And it gets into the scientific aspect. Go through this and make sure that, you know, nothing that you're eating falls within that tier. You got names directly referring to pork is 1. 2 is gelatin-based terms, most common hidden pork source. 3, fats, oils, and grease derivatives. 4, enzymes and processing agents from pigs. 5, meat additives, meat science terminology typically used in processed meats. 6, pharmaceuticals and supplement labels. 7, personal care products, cosmetic, pork devices, appearance soaps, lotion, shaving creams, makeup, and deodorants, right?
And this goes into that aspect you was talking about with candies,
Yeah,
and various foods,
yeah,
pies, and things of that.
That's gonna be in your gelatin base generally, in that regard.
For the most part.
So what's the conclusion? The dietary law should be adhered to even this day. Let's get 2 Chronicles 36, 14 through 16, and then Luke 12, 47 and 48.
It's the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 36, verse 14. Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Lord, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. And the Lord God of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But they mocked the messengers of God, and despised his words, and abused his prophets, until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, till there was no remedy.
Don't let there be no remedy, because you don't want to adhere to what is being brought out in this word.
Gone.
He sent prophets before time. He sent his apostles. He sent Christ. And now he has us in his last days reiterating that which was already been said. Let's get that Luke 12.
This is the Gospel of Luke, chapter 12, and verse number 47.
Come on.
And that servant which knew his Lord's will.
So there's people that know what to do, right? Knowing the will of the Lord. Go ahead.
And prepared not himself.
And did not do what he was supposed to do. Keep going.
Neither did according to his will. Shall be beaten with many stripes.
So that's the person that knew that what they were supposed to do and didn't do it. And they got beat with many stripes. Now the question is, if you don't know that you're supposed to be keeping this dietary law, what will the Lord do to you? Keep going.
But he that knew not.
Okay, so this is the ignorant one. You don't know. Keep going.
And did commit things worthy of stripes.
Okay, Lord is looking at that.
Shall be beaten with few stripes.
You still get punished.
Ooh.
You still get punished. You don't get a chance to escape, because you have to realize he didn't even know when he got whooped.
Come.
There you have it. Keep going. Finish that out.
For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall much be required. And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more.
To whom much is given, much is required. These laws, statutes, and commandment is very much given to us. So it requires us to adhere to them. And with that, we're going to bid you farewell and say shalom.
Shalom, shalom.